Hello, and welcome to Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Gambit. I don't know if I said that twice already. I don't. But anyway, we're on the Turnabout for the Ages, part 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's right. So, a presidential murder and a possible tie to a case that happened 12 years ago. This game really likes to take some flashbacks, doesn't it? Let's see how this one turns out. Oh yeah, and the footprints that aren't footprints, which was wild. Absolutely wild. Sean. He was my dad? It had been easy learning the truth about his father's identity so unexpectedly. Too late to ever get to know him. You know how hard I tried to find him? Sean. I get it. He was the president. He had a lot more to think about than just me. The president of not this country, of a different country, in case you haven't been following along with that. Also, why are those two still here? I'm gonna get heated about this too again this week. Fine. But he was right there in front of me. Right there on the set. So why? Why didn't he just say something? Why didn't he tell me who he was? Sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, Mom. It's mine. If I had broken my promise to you, that fire would never have happened, and he wouldn't have ruined everything. Everything. It's all my fault. I even ruined your flowers. Sean. Please, you mustn't blame yourself. Just try to be here with me. Just for a little while. Oh, well, that was a cheery start to this video. Jeez. The bond between parent and child, as symbolized by the lion lily. Lion lily. I almost said iron, and then the same emphasis. Iron lily sounds sick, though. I'm no expert, but it's native to Jingfa, so I know that much at least. Sadly, we don't have the luxury of dwelling on such things just now. I know it might seem insensitive, Agent Lang, but sentimentality won't help us here. We need to focus on what we can do about the case before us. You're right. I believe we've learned all we need to about what happened back then for now. How did it all line up with your father's theories about the case? I wouldn't know. He took those to the grave with him. He never shared his thoughts with anybody. There's no way of knowing now what he figured out. What about your own thoughts? Are you feeling any more positive in light of what we learned from Kay's reconstruction? Are we any closer to learning what really happened 12 years ago? You know, I think we might be. My father's footsteps are starting to become clear. Now all we need to do is follow them. All the way to the truth. Real story of the SS Files. Oh, well, we are going right into these. Okay. The president went to the orphanage that night. That much we know for sure. The Torosaurus toy proves it. He must have gone there to meet with Amelie Fenn. Except he was kidnapped and Aldown happened to see it. Aldown hadn't been there. There would have been a murder, just a kidnapping. Instead, they had to move his body to the planters and stage that photo to throw everyone off the scent. So that's our current theory, is it? I mean, sounds good to me. Obviously not, since they want me to take it apart, but there's something I still don't understand. This. Why risk staging the picture? Why would they have had they would have had to force the president to play along. What if he hadn't? It's a good question, and we may be closer to discovering the answer than we think. We'll just have to get there one deduction at a time. Yeah, I guess we will. Alright, deduce away. Real story. Ooh, we're going right into a present. Oh, that's right.
Objection!
Objection! You're saying there would have been no murder if Mr. Aldown hadn't witnessed the kidnapping? But is that really the case? Why wouldn't it be? Their main aim was to abduct the president, right? If there hadn't been a witness present, they wouldn't have needed to murder anybody. And yet it remains possible that Mr. Aldown wasn't the only person killed that night. There was a large pool of blood between the planters, but Mr. Aldown was murdered over by the snowman. It can't have belonged to him. Listen, he was struck in the head by a brick. You couldn't have just moved the body and then just had it bleed out where you moved it to? Like, or am I overthinking things? I'm not a murderer, so I don't know how to do any of this. What if all that blood by the planters belonged to somebody else? Come on, Mr. Prosecutor. You do realize what you're saying, don't you? I do. It's hard to believe. I'll be the first to admit it. But it's what the evidence suggests. Not just one person was killed here 12 years ago, but two. You're saying they covered up a whole separate murder? Whose? Who else was killed that night? Whoever covered up this other homicide did so very skillfully indeed. They even seem to have been able to avoid it being mentioned in the files. They didn't quite get rid of everything. We have a piece of evidence from 12 years ago that they never managed to erase. This clearly shows something else happened that night. Sure it does. Oh, yeah.
Take that!
Yeah, you cannot take what kids draw for granted. They'll tell you everything. Excelsius Winter tried to shroud the existence of the other murder in darkness. But there was one piece of evidence he wasn't able to suppress. Thanks to the efforts of your father, Agent Lang. My father? Cast your mind back, if you will. If you please. Something else was hidden along with all the other evidence from the crime scene. The existence of the child who set the fire in front of the orphanage. But why would Chairman Winter wish to erase him from the record? Because he saw something he should not have. That's why. He did? What was it? It's right here in this picture. The picture my father kept. Also, a child drew that? I'm freaking impressed. Look at the bricks on the building. Like, listen. As a child, there is no way I would have been able to draw that. I still to this day fuck up stick figures. I think we can all agree that's the president on the right-hand side. And that's the Torosaurus toy in his hand. Also, can we agree that Torosaurus is an amazing name? Who's that standing across from him? Uh-huh. Oh, yep, we do have his profile.
Take that!
Eastern robes and a black dog? That can only be Bodhidharma Canis. What? The creepy assassin guy? And what would a hired killer be doing in the presence of a president? I can think of only one thing. That's right, it wasn't a kidnapping that occurred here 12 years ago. It was an assassination. Yeah, I'm not making that noise. Ew, look at that motherfucker's face. Look at him. That is creepy. Ew. Okay, moving on. Warden Lagarde and Chairman Winter were... Yes, I think they were complicit. More than complicit, in fact. One provided the venue for the killing, and the other suppressed the testimony of the child who witnessed it. Mr. Aldown was murdered because of what he witnessed was actually an assassination. Not the kidnapping he thought it to be at all. You think I'm an idiot? How could the president have died 12 years ago? We only found his body this morning. And we saw with the chocolate that could be the case. But he was alive and well until just yesterday. Yeah, we even met him. Indeed. So we have a president killed 12 years ago and a president killed in the last 48 hours. Two presidents, in other words. Two presidents. Right, which is completely impossible. Or is it? I think it's entirely possible for there to be two presidents. Twins. In fact, that would explain a lot. But regardless of what happened, I still respected him. Zhengfa may not be a big country, but he held that place together. The president Agent Lang spoke of was a noble and capable leader. The presidential mask has well and truly slipped. Entirely unlike the man we met. It really did seem as if they were two completely different people. But how could one country have two presidents? What could explain a situation like that? This is how it was possible for there to be two presidents. They were twins! No. One of the two was a body double. Tell me that doesn't make sense. A body double? President Wang was a man of great power and influence in Zhengfa, a figure on the world stage. There must have been countless attempts on his life over the years, such as the one at Gourd Lake only a few days ago. It's true, there were more than a few assassination attempts. That doesn't mean I'm about to accept that there was more than one president. Not without proof. That's proof. proof that there was more than one president? Do we have proof that there's more than one president?
Take that!
Really? I don't think he's noticed the contradiction staring him in the face. Or is he just unable to accept it? What's the matter, Mr. Prosecutor? You're pretty quiet all of a sudden. In Amelie Ben's recording, she asked the president to be at the orphanage at midnight. But it shouldn't have been possible for him to be there at that time. Huh? How come? Yeah, how come? Because he was supposedly still at the embassy. With your father, Agent Lang. So he had noticed. Now fill a bitch in, because I'm confused. I've seen this play out, and I'm still kind of confused. Not gonna lie. The only way he could have been in two different places at once is if there were two of him. Ow. So, the real president? That was the one who died 12 years ago? I think it might have been. But why? And who? Who would have hired Canis to murder the president? In order to figure that out, we need to look again at the piece of evidence we recently discovered was a fake. Fake evidence? What was that again? A picture, bro.
Take that!
The picture taken with Mr. Aldown's camera was staged sometime after his murder. And Mr. Aldown was murdered because he witnessed the president's assassination. In other words, the photograph too must have been taken after the real president's death. So who is the president staged in the stage photograph? The body double. Nothing else makes sense. Okay, we can stop showing this picture. Look at him! Look at those eyes. He looks like a fucking goat. Ugh. I believe the president's double had him killed so that he could take his place permanently. And Excelsius winner and Fifi Lagarde helped him do it. Wait, you don't even have a body to support your theory. Are you telling me it magically disappeared? No, in fact, we know exactly where it wound up. The president's body was here the whole time. What is happening? Chairman Winter dug something up last night. Something he couldn't trust anyone else to retrieve. He thought it might have been the ransom money. But it was actually something even more important. Wait, you mean? That's right, the real president's body. I think it's highly likely anyway. Why did it still have skin? What? The body may have decomposed in the intervening years, but the bones would surely have remained. Mr. Powers informed us that the construction site is due to start here sometime soon. Everything had to be wrapped up before then. The shooting of the movie and the recovery of the president's remains. Yeah, I guess once they started digging the place up, they would have found them pretty quick, huh? Agent Lang, we need to have the so-called monster footprints analyzed again. Yeah, I guess we do. So, hold on. I don't remember this at all. Are we supposed to believe that they dug up the bones and then, like, put the skin from the new guy? What is this shit rated again? This is a 2 game, right? What is 2? Mild violence. Skinning someone is not mild. There was a body under one of them. I guess he was dead, but still. There was a body under one of them. There should be trace evidence to confirm it. Hey, give me somebody from forensics. Sir, presenting the findings of our analysis, sir. Traces of human remains were found in the dirt, along with other signs of a body having been buried. So it really was him. Bones were also recovered from the home of Excelsius Winter. The physique looks to be about right, and dental and medical records are a match. It's him, no doubt about it. So he didn't even dispose of the bones yet? Oh my god. So, as expected, the real President Wang was killed 12 years ago. And the SS-5 kidnapping was in fact a homicide. Wow, so it really was a murder, huh? This case is taking so many twists and turns, I'm starting to lose track. Girl, same. Yes, perhaps we should summarize our findings just to confirm that we understand everything correctly. Good idea. Let's go everything from the point where the president arrived at the orphanage. Okay, 12 years ago, the real President Wang visited the orphanage. His aim? To meet his infant son. The footprints we originally assumed to be those of Mr. Aldown seem to have actually been made by the president upon his arrival. But instead of being greeted by his child, he was met by the assassin, Turnabout. That's so sad. He was hoping to see his baby for the first time, only to... Indeed. At least with Mr. Canis, we can be sure the job was swiftly and effectively completed. Oh yeah, there's a silver lining for you. But then, after the assassination, another tragedy occurred. Mr. Aldown's murder. Yes, it seems he witnessed a key moment in the evening's proceedings. The moment when our culprits, the so-called kidnappers, took the president's body around to the side of the building. That was the sight that sealed his fate. We've now established that he was standing by the orphanage gates at the time. Far enough away that he believed that he was seeing the president's abduction. At which point... Oh, the body double who had come to meet up with his co-conspirators walked right up behind Mr. Aldown, leading to our unfortunate eyewitness being murdered by the man who was plotting to replace the president. So it was the body double who moved Mr. Aldown's body too? Yes, I think it probably was. But none of the footprints could have been his, could they? Actually, I think they could. In fact, we have a piece of evidence that proves how that particular trick was achieved. What shows how the body managed to move? What shows how the body double managed to move the body double?
Take that!
What if the president's double moved Mr. Aldown's body like this? After killing Mr. Aldown, he could have carried him to the other side of the entrance. Given that his job was to look just like the president, he would have been wearing the same shoes. Meaning that if he stepped exactly in the footprints left by the real president, of course, his would have been the same size and shape. He would have looked like a single set of footprints. So that's how it all went down. I'm so glad we finally figured it out. Wait, but there's one thing I still don't get. There is? What? Why do they need to pretend there was a kidnapping? Mr. Aldown had seen the president at the orphanage and left a message on Miss Ringer's phone describing what he thought he saw. It would have been impossible for the conspirators to erase that message, so they had to make it look as if the events described in the message were true. By staging a kidnapping? Like the one he thought he saw. Exactly. I think the two people in the photograph are likely to be the body double and Fifi Lagarde. She's the one in the trench coat? How can you be so sure? Two of them would have had to walk out beyond the orphanage gates to stage the photo. The body double could have put his feet in the real president's prints as he did before. Oh, so the other set of footprints were hers. The ones we originally thought belonged to the killer, yes. They were about a size 9. Too small for Chairman Winter, in other words. Why, is he tall? I mean, he looks imposing, but that doesn't mean he's very tall. He is... Oh, yeah, he's about 6 feet. So, yeah, he's big. Okay. Which means the kidnapper must have been played by Warden Lagarde. And that explains how a so-called kidnapping was actually a presidential assassination. Lord. It does, which means my father must have noticed. There's no way he wouldn't have suspected a murder. Especially not with the kid's picture as proof. But the picture was never officially put into evidence, correct? No, he appears to have kept hold of it after taking the witness statement of the child who drew it. Yeah, because he knew. He knew President Wang was dead. And he knew it would happen if that news ever got out. Jing Fa would have been plunged into chaos, no doubt. So he kept it a secret. And that secret died with him. Even though it meant taking the blame for kidnapping and our family name being ruined. So your father knew the truth about what happened 12 years ago, but he chose to hide it. Well, it's finally coming to light at last. It is. Is it indeed? Intriguing. Huh? What? Who's there? Oh, shit. That sound. Is that a bell? Oh, hell. Bodhirama Canis. Oh, the puppy. What the hell are you doing here? See, that should have been a hell. We're the law. You think you can just show up in front of us like it ain't a problem? Forgive me, but I couldn't help overhearing the fascinating conversation you were having. Huh. The opportunity to gloat over your past crimes was just too good to miss, I expect. You killed President Wang. I did. It's not something I'm inclined to gloat over. I was more interested in something else you mentioned, or someone else, I should say. Someone you're looking for, I suppose. Exactly. That's why I took a little sojourn from the penitentiary to find a certain young pup. A young pup in a rather eye-catching red raincoat. What? Wait, you know who they are? In a manner of speaking. What did you call them again? A secret mastermind? It's your friend in the red raincoat, of course. Red raincoat. The prosecutor looked a little surprised. Looks a little surprised, doesn't he? Helmet. Yes, he does. The young pup I mentioned. He saved my life, you know. 12 long years ago. What the hell? As you have surmised, it was I who killed President Wang. But that meant that I, too, became an inconvenience in need of removal. The imposter president, Winner, the guard, all three were keen to guarantee my silence. And if I hadn't met my friend, the young pup, again, they might have even succeeded. I wonder what he's doing now. So it was the president's body double who hired you? I remember his words almost as if it were yesterday. You know how many times I've nearly been killed? Not once, not twice, a bunch of times. Why do I have to take all the risks? Why am I the one they always put in danger? When I'm out there being him, people treat me like I was him. They worship me. So what's the difference? Who's to say I couldn't be just as good as him? There was a difference, of course. Even if he did look and sound exactly like him. Just because it walks and talks like a president, that doesn't make it a president, does it, boy? No, those words feel true today. Just say that out loud. So he got his wish and became the boss, but couldn't quite fill his predecessor's shoes. Brooke's not around. That means I'm number one. I wonder if you have what it takes to step into such capable shoes. Of course I do. I'm the leader now. Me. Seems the king and his knight were much the same. The president's double knew that his employer had a weakness, a young woman named Amelie. But in order to find her, he needed to enlist the help of locals. Locals such as Chairman Winner. Once Miss Fenn had been located, they simply needed to find the right time to lay their trap. Meeting she arranged so the president could meet his son. That would have been the perfect opportunity. Indeed. And with the head of the orphanage brought into the fold, their little conspiracy was complete. Gordon Lagarde. Now, quid pro quo. Where might I find the pup? What makes you think the boy who helped you and our mysterious string puller are one and the same? He set a little fire that night out there in the yard of the orphanage. Oh, yeah, we saw that. It was some kind of prank, right? A prank? It was nothing of the sort, my dear. Not as I understand it. No, as I understand it, he had taken refuge in the igloo by the entrance. From there, he happened to see Winner and Lagarde carrying away a dead body. He also overheard them hatching a certain sordid little plot. A plot to remove me, the only other person who knew what had really happened from the picture. Thankfully, he was kind enough to come and inform me. I was waiting inside the building, you see. He also happened to mention later on that he was wearing his favorite red raincoat. In any case, he escorted me from the premises. And, being a very considerate boy, thought to erase both our footprints from the crime scene. It seems he had a little kerosene set aside in the igloo for just such an occasion. So he spread it liberally about the place and set himself a little fire. No way! So that's what the fire was for. It must have been ever so painful. Winner and Lagarde were positively, it must have been ever so beautiful. Winner and Lagarde were positively enchanted. While they were distracted by the show, he took the opportunity to usher me out of a side entrance. He never answered my question. You really think he's the one behind all this? I do indeed, don't I, Helmet? I do. I love how nice he is to his dog. It is so nice. God, I forgot that he gave a testimony. Testimony.
Hold it!
Hold it! Again? So the two of you had met before? Yes. On a cold, lonely Christmas Eve 18 years back. Not long ago? But on that occasion, it was I who saved his life. It was snowing, more than it had in years, so that feels accurate. And cold enough that death by freezing was a real possibility. I had taken Helmet out for a little walk. He noticed something and bounded off through the snow. When I caught up to him, he was sniffing at a car. The doors had frozen shut. It took all the strength I had, but eventually I managed to open one. And inside I found two young boys, shivering and semi-unconscious. Two? Yes, and had I found them even an hour later, the poor wretches would have never made it. Oh, so he's a killer with a heart? Okay, well, I mean, here's the thing. He's a hired assassin. Kills when he's paid. Saving life when he's not? Yeah, sure. Alright, I'm here for it. I took them both to a nearby orphanage. Is it me or is there something significant to what he just told us? Oh, there sure the hell is. What is it about Canis' statement that's especially noteworthy? This was on Christmas Eve 18 years ago? You're certain of that? I am. But holy smokes! We have something that shows why that date is so significant. Of course we do.
Take that!
The same day on which a certain incident occurred, the murder of a well-known sculptor. No way! An incident in the aftermath of which 2 children went missing. The son of the victim, Artie Frost, and the son of the murderer, Carmelo Gusto. Yeah, now that you mention it, the little guys did go AWOL, huh? Intriguing. The son of a murderer and the son of his victim. I suppose that would make sense. It would? One of the boys was bound hand and foot, you see. That must have been part of Mr. Frost's plan to stop Mr. Gusto's son from getting to the competition. Indeed. Because without his son to taste his creations, Mr. Gusto would have had no chance of winning. So that was what was behind it all. Sadly, neither of the boys were able to remember any such details. They weren't? No. When we met each other again on that night 12 years ago, the young pup explained it to me. It seems that they really were on the brink of death when I found them, and the shock of the experience caused them both to lose their memories. They weren't even able to remember their names. Wow. So they wouldn't have known they were Mr. Frost and Mr. Gusto's kids? If that's what he's telling us is true, it would seem likely, yes. Which means we still don't have enough to tell us who our mastermind might be. Mr. Canis, would you mind telling us what happened next? By all means. Other than the fact that he's an assassin, he's really not that bad of a guy. The pup and I remained in contact even after I was sent to prison. Then I stopped hearing from him. I couldn't help but worry. And then people from 12 years ago started cropping up all over the place. I rather piqued my curiosity, so I thought I'd temporarily regain my freedom and look into things. People from 12 years ago. You mean Lagarde, Winter, and the president, I assume? Well, Warden Lagarde was in charge of the prison where he was an inmate this whole time, right? I fear I wasn't as kind to her as I could have been. But then, she did try to have me killed. You already know why, of course. Because you murdered President Wang and they needed the world to believe he was still alive. If somebody had exposed the president as a fake, it would have been bad for Lagarde and Chairman Winter, too. Oof. Exactly. And not only that, I happened to overhear something else intriguing that night. I'll be at the orphanage on the evening of the 9th. I'll be waiting in the front yard. I thought you could meet him if you like, even if it's only just this once. I know you're a very busy man, but anyway, that's where we'll be. Goodbye. Who are you? Sorry, but I'm waiting for somebody. Oh, you are, President Wang. I couldn't help overhearing the news. Congratulations. But please don't worry about your son. I only kill those I'm employed to kill. Which in this case means you. No. But wait, this is my first chance to meet him. And it might be my only chance. Please, give me just a few minutes longer. I thought he was going to beg for his life, but no. Interesting character. I told him I was not aware that he had a child. No, he said. Shook his head. Neither was I. The world will know that I have one now. I mean, to make sure of it. I even prepared something in case the worst comes to the worst. And the son in question, it was the young gentleman with the horns here, correct? Horns? You can see them? I don't need to either. I've been listening very carefully, you see. And for longer than you may realize. So the president meant to tell the world about Sean and prepared something in case of the worst. It's not enough simply to have Candace's word on the matter. Of course. We have something that proves that he's telling us we have something that proves what he's telling us the president said is true. A will. A will everybody knew about and entrusted it to my family to show his belief in us after all. The name in the recording, the preparations he had made, and his will. With those 3 pieces of information, I was able to convince Warden Lagarde to do everything I asked. With the information at his disposal, he could have exposed the truth about the body double at any time. And Sean's true identity with it. President Wang was more agile than I had anticipated. He blocked my first knife thrust with something soft. By the time the piece had broken off and hit the snow, my next strike had hit its mark. So it was Canis who tore the horn off the Torosaurus doll. I was the only one present to hear his final words. The only one who knew the truth about his son. Well, me and that poor pup.
Hold it!
So you were able to continue communicating with him from prison? I was. Via a post office box. What's that? It's a means of exchanging mail without revealing one's own address. I never knew where he was, and I wasn't able to slip out and track him down. I was being kept under rather strict supervision, you see. My warden Lagarde, no doubt. What were the two of you even communicating about? We were playing correspondence chess, of course. That and griping about our respective lots of life. Correspondence chess? But didn't you used to play that with... As unlikely as it may seem, Mr. Canis' chess opponent was Mr. Knight? Yeah, it was Mr. Knight. He found the diagram of the game in his cell, too. So does that mean Knight had something to do with all that IS-7 business? Wait, could that be it? Do you have any evidence that might connect Knight to the IS-7 incident?
Take that!
Ring and a chess set. The ring. What about it, Mr. Edgewright? Mr. Fender, take a closer look at it, if you would. That design. That's Paul Halik's trademark. Mark. Indeed. Looks like somebody turned the stamp he used to sign with... It looks like somebody turned the stamp he used to sign his work with into a ring. Why would Knight have been carrying it? Why was it not with the rest of the evidence from the IS-7 incident? He tried to release Frost's personal effects to his next of kin after the case wound down. If I remember rightly, old Frosty boy didn't have any family aside from his kid. That kid was missing, so they never got to hand it back to him. Not till later, anyhow. I heard on the grapevine that they found him in the end and gave him the goods. Including the seal, it would seem. Which he turned into a ring and wore until his own death. So we're saying Mr. Knight was Mr. Frost's son? The cops don't mess around with stuff like that. They would have made sure before handing it over. And we were looking for somebody connected to the IS-7 incident who played correspondence chess, right? Wait, so our secret string puller is Bronco Knight? Knight is dead. How could he possibly be involved in our current case? Far out. So our only candidate for genius mastermind is a guy who already kicked the bucket? That's impossible. How can a dead guy be behind all this? It is perplexing, but then who else could it be? So used to enjoy tapping out my little letters in Braille. It's Braille? You said that you wrote all of your letters in Braille, is that correct? I don't mean to be rude, Mr. Prosecutor, but you do know about my condition, don't you? That's odd, because the chess diagram we found in Knight's cell didn't contain any Braille at all. Really? But surely that's impossible. How so exactly? Maybe someone typed Mr. Canis' letters out on purpose? Meaning there may have been some sort of intermediary between the two of them? So then... Mr. Canis says he wrote his letters in Braille, and yet the letters received by Mr. Knight contain no Braille at all. This suggests that there must be a third party who typed Mr. Canis' letters out. Guess it could have worked the same way on the flip side, too. Whoever it was could have taken Knight's letters and turned them back into the Braille. They could indeed. So we're looking for somebody who's blind. Or at least knows Braille. I know Braille from Pokemon Emerald, because, you know, that's how that works. What the hell is going on over here? Oh, that's much better. Okay. I think you and Mr. Knight were both communicating with this person, Mr. Canis. Mr. Canis, the answers you received? They were written in Braille, too, yes. Just some mysterious middle person really was retyping the Bronxter's missives? That same person might well be our secret string puller. Wait, you're trying to say there's another hidden mastermind behind this whole thing? So who's this new one? Bronco Knight, son of Artie Frost, is already dead. What if the other child from the incident 18 years ago was actually who we've been looking for? Carmelo Gusto's son? But who is he? And where is he? If Knight was Frost's son, Gusto's son would have to be... We've known him since we were kids, when both of us were all alone. He doesn't have any family, you see, just like me. Him? But surely not. What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? You're white as a sheet. Yeah. Of course, it all makes sense. I know exactly who our so-called mastermind is. What? Who? You have to tell us. I can hardly believe it, but it's somebody we know rather well. The person we've been looking for is...
Take that!
It has to be. The person behind all this. The person who forced Chairman Winter's hand by sending the letter to Rosie Ringer. The person who kidnapped Sean and bugged Kay and myself. The person who did the strangest thing of all. Who drugged Kay and carried her up to the roof of the big building. It was the monster. What? Did you really just say what I thought you did? Yes, the monster. That was the key to unmasking our mastermind. Oh, I almost forgot. We're, doing a new show soon. I'd love it if you could come, Mr. Edgeworth. I'll be joining Regina on stage for this one. That's right. Very Big Circus has the biggest, most fabulous event in town. You'll have oodles of fun. Miss Lloyd, could I ask for a favor? Who, little old me? What kind of favor? You told us you recorded the sound of the Torosaurus breathing fire. Alright, it's good that she's still there. Proof? What kind of proof? Did you capture something on your tape recorder, perhaps? Ooh, you're good, Ruffles. Sharper than a gosh dang tack. I captured the sound of that big old beastie breathing fire is what I captured. Sure did. Like I said, I didn't precisely see the guy, but boy, did I hear him. Can we listen to the tape? You surely can. Let's see now. You surely can. I do declare. That's it. That sound. It must be what I think it is. My theory has to be correct. The truth about the monster. The identity of the person behind all this. It's all falling into place. Miss Hart. You saw a giant eye at the window of the store, did you not? Yep, snapped me a picture of it too. Even you can't rightly see it so well. You can't see it right now, but... Detective Gumshoe! Yes, sir. Your image analyzer, can we borrow it again? Sure, but what do you want to look at, sir? This photograph right here. Gotcha, I'm on it. Who we're looking for must be here. That's... See, I done told y'all. Taurosaurus on his own dang self. Yes, there it is at last. The monster commanded by the architect of this whole scheme. Monster? You're finally ready to admit it? That he's dang well real? The big bad bull himself? Himself? No, because that isn't the Taurosaurus at all. It's the eye of a different giant beast entirely. Take a look at this, if you would. I see it. The very big circus flyer? Oh, wait, look! You see it? The enormous lion balloon? That's the real monster. And the sound Miss Lloyd thought was the creature breathing fire? It's the hot air balloon. Oh, come on. You're really gonna bring me crashing down to Earth like that? That's how balloons fly, huh? They burn gas to make hot air? They do. And our culprit was able to use that balloon. Carry Kay up to the roof of the big building without ever going near the elevator. So this culprit, they've got something to do with the circus? Circus worker. Friend of the Bronxster. Son of Gusto. Whoa, you're not serious. You forgot to mention trainee animal tamer. It's hard to believe. The one who's been pulling the strings this whole time. That's right, Simeon Saint is the one behind all this. Simeon? But everything? Really? I don't believe you. We trusted him, and he trusted us. You can't tell me that was all lies. That would be too horrible. Sorry, Kay. Who was that? Hey, where do you think you're going, old man? Nothing escapes you, does it, young pup? My congratulations, Mr. Edgeworth. But now that I know the truth, my business here is done. What? No, Mr. Canis, wait. Ooh. Oh, shit. Damn it, he disappeared. Are you okay, Mr. Edgeworth? Don't worry, I'm fine, but... Damn you. Are you alright, Sean? He killed my dad. He did, right? No easy way to say it, but... Sorry, Sean. It would appear that he did. I won't get away with it. I'll make him pay. Somehow, some way, I'll... No, Sean. You mustn't say such things. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. You'll have to forgive us both. I just put the call out, sir. All units are on the lookout for Mr. Canis. I don't mean to hurry everybody, but we'd better be on our way too. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, where do you think we'll find our mastermind? I suppose you're right. We should go after the mastermind right now. He said that he had to practice for the show, which I guess means he'll be at the circus. But before we leave, there's something I'd like to ask you, Agent Lang. There is? What? Once a beast has been sighted, the next step is to plan its capture. When we arrive, there's something we'll need to try and find as a matter of priority. And detective, I'd like you to look into something that's been bothering me about Sean's kidnapping. Yes, sir. I want to help too, Mr. Edgeworth. Good. There's somebody I'd like you to try and contact. If Saint really is our mastermind, we're going to need this person's help. Between our many encounters, I never suspected a thing, even though he was right there in front of me. I messed up. There's no other way of putting it. But I'm going to put things right once and for all. Dun, dun, dun. Alright, well that was a Turnabout for the Ages Part 4. There's one last part of this game, and it's another long one. Better strap in. But that's all for this one. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you all later.